everybody. Well, it looks like we're not going to have any comments tonight, so let me get on my other computer here. Looks like the comment thing is not working again tonight. You never know with Facebook what it's going to be. So say something in a second here. I'm just trying to get in on my other laptop here. Okay. Here I am. So you'll be able to comment and I'll be able to see them here in a minute. Second. Hi, Deb. I'm seeing them, but I can't see them on my screen. It's another one of those days on Facebook. Hi, everybody. All right, so I can see, I'll make sure I got my volume turned all the way down here. Whoops. Second here. Yep, okay. How is everybody this evening? And everybody, it's a beautiful day. It's not super warm out, but beautiful day. I've been working in my sewing room. I've been working on a software class, and I wanted to figure out a way to do something more complicated, but I wanted to try one of the things I've always wanted to work with more, and I never have, is the auto digitizer. So one of my students asked me to help her with this little logo, and it was, you know, relatively complicated, and I wanted to see if I could get it done in the auto digitizer, and that's done with the auto digitizer. I think it looks pretty good. So I had a lot of fun playing with this, and that's what I've been working on today. I got to write up some notes now so I can tell people how to do it. But, oh, Peggy says she's having trouble getting the video. Are you guys, can you see me okay? Is everybody seeing me and hearing me all right? Yep, Margaret says she has. Cool, people are hearing me okay? Okay, yeah, I'm not getting any comments through Facebook tonight, so you never know. I'll just go with I've got my tablet up here so I can see on my tablet. That's always good. So everybody's hearing me okay though. Video and sound are great. Okay, everything's okay. Great. Hi, Clara. Hi, Mary. Yeah, Margaret, this is Margaret. Margaret's here tonight. This was Margaret's little thing she asked me to help her with, but I made it into a class because I figured, you know, this would be a good one to try with something like an auto digitizer, and I had to do a little playing around with it a little bit, but you know, it worked out pretty well, I thought. So I've been having fun working with that today. And then last night I wanted to show you the new Kimberbell fill in the blank came in a couple days ago, and this is for May, and it's this little man bag. Isn't that cute? It's like a little cosmetic bag, and it opens up here, but it's made out of one of their little zipper pouches. Isn't that cute? It has and you just box the corners and stuff, and you put the little handle on, and it's got leather on the bottom. I just thought it was darling. So that was what I was working on. I got to make a video yet of it, but that's what I was working on, was the man bag. I did that last night, and I want to do, oh, okay. Isn't that cute? Yeah, I thought that was cute. And they have the olive green one is the one you have to buy to get the design, but there's several other colors of these little bags, so you can do them in different colors. The other one I thought would be pretty, there's like a heather gray one, so I thought I might do that, but isn't that, I thought it was cute. It's big enough, you know, to put like their razor in and maybe a deodorant and that kind of stuff. It's just a small bag, but it was real cute, I thought. So I just thought it was neat. That was one of the things I've been working on this weekend. And then remember next week, oh good, there's 20 people here. Oh my goodness, all of a sudden all these people are here. Yes, it's the May fill in the blank, and then the April one's that real cute little bag with the terrarium on it. So that one's real fun too. So we still have some of those left if anybody wants it. That one is like I think it's $9.95, and then this little bag's only like I think $6.95. So you know, it doesn't cost much. And then you get the free video. I'm making the video this month, and Lynn made the one last month. And then there'll be a free video, and then you get the design for free too. So I just thought it was cute. And then remember, next week will be a scan and cut class. So the 25th is next week, and we're gonna make this shadow box, and it's got rolled roses in it, and hopefully you can see it okay. It's got rolled roses in it, so I'm going to teach you how to cut. We're going to cut the roses out of the paper, and I'll teach you how to roll them. And this little 6x6 frame, you can get these at Michael's. So I always buy these at Michael's. And they are, I don't know, I can't remember how much they were. They weren't really expensive. If you catch them on sale, I caught mine on sale for 50% off. But this is a nice size because it's not too big. And then I'll show you how to cut this vinyl. This is adhesive vinyl on the outside. So we'll do that. So that's what we're going to do next week. So we'll have scan and cut class, okay? Next week. I love doing these roses. The roses are really fun. They're made out of a lightweight cardstock, and then you cut them out, and then you roll them up. And I used to do quilling as a younger girl, and these are like quilling. So it's really fun, and then you just glue them in, and I thought it turned out really cute. So this is going to be what we're going to do next week. But this week we're going to put this clasp in this purse. Okay, so just a second here. I'm going to get my tablet a little bit closer. And hopefully everybody's still hearing me okay. So everybody, you can send me some thumbs ups. Are you hearing me okay and everything yet? You never know what things are going to happen when you go get ready to do live videos on Facebook. Now the camera's out of focus. Okay. So I'm going to turn the camera around here, and we're going to talk about these purses tonight. All right, just a second here. I got to kind of move my table a little bit. Okay, you're hearing me? Good. Okay, everybody's hearing me. All right, awesome. Okay. So last week we sewed our purse together, and I can't remember. Oh, I sewed this one. Okay. So this is the purse I sewed last week, and we're going to go ahead and get the clasp in it. And I did go ahead and do this little top stitching here. They didn't tell you to do that, but I went ahead and did it. It seemed to work better when I went to start the other purse. So what I've done is, this is the purse I made last week. I made a second purse here, and I've got half of the clasp ends because you need to let these sit and dry before you do the second side. So we're going to do one side tonight, and then I've got the second purse, and I'm going to do the second side on that one, okay? But you do, in between, you definitely want to let it dry at least a half an hour. Honestly, I let it out dry an hour or two before I mess with it, just because it's hard enough to get them in. I mean, it's not hard to get them in, but they're a little fiddly. And it's better to take your time and just spend some time working with it, and don't get in a hurry to get the other side in, okay? Because then you're certainly going to pull it out or do something, okay? So that's what I do. That's what I do, is I always wait a couple of hours, okay? So this one here, I've just got this kind of stuffed up in there. I like to test fit them, and we'll do that in a minute. But this is going to be, then this purse will be done, okay? Okay, so this is our purse that we're going to put the clasp in. We're going to do one side at a time. And what I've done here is, I got my top stitching on here. And the first thing I need to do is I need to find the center. So since this is a round purse, you need to find the center so you know where to start with the clasp to go over, okay? All right. So what I usually do with this is I just kind of take it down here. Here's my center corners here, and I'm just going to fold this in half, and I can check by my straps if I'm getting it well in half, okay? And then I'm going to put a pin in here, and then we'll make a mark with I'm just going to put a pin in the center here, and then we'll make a mark with a marking pen. So I'm just going to kind of mark this, and then I'll do the other side too, okay? So when you need to find your centers. Now doing this, what I tell people doing this has been the hardest part for me about learning to make these purses, is getting the clasp in. And these bigger ones are a little harder just because they are large. So just take your time and don't try to work too fast, and you'll get along just fine. And the other thing that I figured out with this purse, I was struggling with, is that there is going to be a little hole, like down here at the corner. See, there's a little opening right there. So don't try to get the purse all the way down to here, because it's not going to happen. It's going to be all wrinkly up at the top. So there will be just a little opening right here, okay, on both sides. And that's okay. And then it lays nice and flat in here. And then this one, as you can see, then lays nice and stands up nicely, okay? So I have learned that with this purse. I was struggling at the beginning because I was trying to get the ends of the clasp too low in that corner area, and then it was causing me problems. So now I've learned not to do that. Okay, so I've got my centers marked here, and this is dark colored, so I have this white chalk pencil, and I'm just going to make a line here so I can take this pin out, because the pin's going to be in the way. And I'm going to make it fairly long so I can see it, because of course this will come off. Okay, so I want to make a mark in the center, and I'm going to turn it around and do this other side. Okay, get that. There we go. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just need to have something to go by so you can get this in here. Okay, so there's my lines. So I've got my 2 lines made for the center. Okay, so the clasp we're going to work with tonight for this purse is the ZW 6059, and it's for the 50s purse. And I think they're $13.99. They're up on our website, so if you haven't gotten one yet and you want to make the purse, I have some more on order. We are out of them, but they should be here in a couple of days, so probably Tuesday. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of the package. Get the package out of my way here. And then the other thing that's in here is this paper twine. Now, her paper twine is very, very thin. I mean, it's like, I would say 1/32. It's very thin. And this is a really big clasp. So you can see that it's pretty wide in that slot. So what I have found with these larger ones is that they need bigger cording. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to keep it because I might need it for something else. And I have found that these bigger ones work really well. This is a satin, a silky, they call it silky cord, and it's in the jewelry department. They make necklaces with this. And it's about 1/8 of an inch, probably close. Maybe not quite, but it's close. And this works better for these larger clasps because then it holds better for me, okay? So I would recommend with this clasp to get something like this, and it's just silk cord. And if you can find the paper twine, it's fine. I think Lynn was able to find some from a paper company, but you have to buy so much of it. So this, I had this already, and this really seems to work, okay? So instead of the paper twine, I'm going to set that aside and keep it because I could use it for something else. I'm going to use the silk cording, okay, in my purse. Now what I did is I took it on my little, off my little card here, and I just took it and figured out about how much I needed. I just took it around my clasp like this. And you want to make it a little long because you can trim it off at the end. Okay, so I just kind of did this, and then I made 2 pieces, okay, and cut 2 pieces. And if we need to cut it off a little bit, we will. All right? Okay, so the first thing I like to do when I do this is I want to get, I'm going to start, I like to do the back first. I don't know why the back works for me. It doesn't matter which one you do first, but I usually work this way, and I found with this big purse, it works better for me if I work with the lining facing me, so that I can go and lay it down on the table like this. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to clip this front piece down. I've got some of those little clover clips. I'm just going to clip this down and get it out of my way. Nope, got to find another one. I got another one here. Okay. And then the other thing I did that seemed to work better is this handle was kind of in my way. So I'm going to take this handle on the back piece and I'm going to work with, and I'm just going to pin it down just to get it out of the way. because I kept catching it with my hand, and it just was in my way all the time. So like that. Okay, so I just pinned it out of the way to pull it down. Okay, so now what I like to do is I like to open my clasp, and I like to test fit it so I have an idea where I'm going. Okay, let me pull this up just a little bit. And the center marks that we made are going to be where the clasp meets. So it's not going to be like on top of this. It's going to be like on the inside of where the clasp meets together. That's the center. Okay, so it's you can see how the mark's going to kind of go right up along the inside edge of these two things. Okay, so that's going to be the center of the purse. So I'm going to go ahead and let's kind of test fit this. I'm going to pull this down in there. And like I said, this is not a simple clasp to put in. You just take your time and you'll do just fine. So see, I want that line to be on the inside of this. So it's not like right on it, it's on the inside because that's where they meet, okay? And then I'm going to push this piece in. And then you kind of have to, oops, this clip's kind of in my way, so let's get that out of the way. Okay, and then I'm going to push this up in here and just kind of get an idea where it's going to fit. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I just have an idea where I'm going with this. And it's not going to really stay in there. It kind of will, but you just kind of have to get an idea how it's going to fit up in there, okay? And then when I look at the other side, can you see it's nice and smooth? Now there will be a little gap down there at the bottom. That's fine, that there's going to be a little gap down there. But I found that if I just put it in so that it's smooth, and it will come up a little bit here in the corners when you go to push it in with the glue, then you're going to have just a small little gap down here at the bottom. Right here, you can kind of see there's just a little gap there. If I open it up again, you can see it. Okay, so there's just a little gap right here, and I can kind of just stick my finger in there, but that, if you look at these clasp purses, most of them have that. Okay, so I kind of know where I'm going with this. Kind of test fit it, and that looks pretty good. All right, like that. I just kind of set it on there so I can kind of see where I'm going when I go to start working with this. So the other things that you're going to need, we'll just let it sit there for a second. The other things you're going to need, you know, we got our cording. So here's our cording. You'll need a flathead screwdriver, and these bigger ones, sometimes I use this bigger screwdriver because it's a little bit larger, and since the slot is bigger, I use this larger one. So I have both of them here. I have this larger one and I have this little small one. I like this one for the small purses. Okay, so these two, you need a flathead screwdriver. I just have screwdrivers that I just use for this because you kind of get glue on them, so you may not want to use a screwdriver you use all the time. I just have some that I got for this only. Okay, and then you're going to need your fabric fusion glue, and I've tried quite a few glues, and this is by far the best glue that I have ever found. Okay, so the fabric fusion works so much better. It dries quickly but not too fast, and it really grabs. Okay, so this is the glue you want. We have this on the website as well, so if you need this, I have the glue on the website. And the other thing I need, oh, I gotta find it. Oh, here it is I have these goofy looking pliers. Now you can use regular pliers, but I found these in Hobby Lobby in the glass department because they're kind of like a duckbill here, and then they've got a rubber coating. They're made to like break glass once you cut it. And these work really well because they're not sharp, there's no serrations, and they've got these plastic covers on them, and then they're a little wider, so we'll have to crimp this clasp over in here somewhere. And so I crimp this one, actually we crimp it a couple of places because it's very large clasp. So, but you want to get these pliers. If you're using regular pliers, make sure you have a nice piece of batting, that you can put over your clasp before you crimp down, because if you crimp down right on your clasp, you're going to mar it, and you don't want to do that. So put some batting over it. But these already have the little things on them, so I don't have to use batting, okay? So you can use regular pliers, they work fine, but just use batting or something soft over the top so you won't mar your clasp, okay? All right, so now my glue has a tendency to want to dry on me pretty easy, and I'm going to put my glasses on because I always need my glasses when I do this. Clean them off a little bit, they're kind of covered in lint. And one thing I have to do lots of times with my glue is I have to take a toothpick up through here because it likes to kind of dry up in the tip. So I'm just going to go up here and make sure that it's not clogged. Got to get a piece of towel over here. And you might want a towel also, paper towel, because I have a tendency to get glue on things. Okay, so I've got that all ready to go. And I think I'm happy where that's going to go. You can kind of see where the clasp is going to go in here. And I'm going to get my cord out of the way here. And I'm going to take this off the purse. Now you can kind of see when you test fit it how it kind of forms the purse, and it makes it a little easier to get it back in there. All right, so then I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to go down in here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go down in here. And you want a generous bead of glue. Don't over glue. But this is a big clasp, so you do need a generous bead of glue all the way around this. Oops, so if I got it on the frame instead, but that's okay. We'll get it off. And it does clean off the frame pretty easily, so I'm putting I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can get it a little closer. Can you see me putting the glue in here? It's hard when I got it. Let's see if I can tip this down a little bit. There we go. So I'm going around here, but make sure you get glue on the whole frame. And if you're scared about the glue, practice putting it in without the glue, you know, just to practice where it goes in and how it feels when it's going on before you put the glue on there. Now I do have some glue on my frame, so I'm going to try to get rid of some of that before I go up to my fabric. And this does dry pretty clear, so I've had pretty good luck with it. All right, so I'm going to have to get the camera tip down here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this, I'm going to start with it up. And my corners wanted to kind of tip in, so I'm going to kind of push them in again. And I'm going to find my center of my purse. And remember, it's not the center of that ball, it's kind of the inside edge, and I'm going to kind of form my purse so that it sticks up in there. And I really struggled with this one, and this is how it worked best for me. This is a very large clasp. I've never done one this big before. And it is a little harder than those small ones because you have a lot more fabric to work with this time. And it's being contrary and doesn't want to go in this corner here. There we go. Okay, so I'm getting it up in there. Getting it started. Okay, I'm getting close. It's being contrary though. And I think that the top stitching along the whole thing did seem to help. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I've got it in there, and I think I've got it where I want it. But now what I need to do is start putting in, and this one, like I said, I usually tip them down, but this one I may be able to leave it standing up. It depends on the night. So, okay, so I kind of got it, and that's why I like it when it was stiffer, because then it stood up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now they tell you in the instructions to start in the center and work to the outsides with your ribbon, or not your ribbon, but your piping stuff, you know, your paper tape. But I can't. It must be because I'm left-handed. I have a hard time. So I actually prefer to start from the side and go. I start on the right and work to my left. And if that doesn't work for you, do what works for you. Okay, whatever works for you is the way to do it. And if it works to go from the center out, go from the center out. This seems to work better for me. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and tip it down. Here, just a second, let me get it started here. So I'm going to work this in. I kind of can put it in, now, but see, this is a big clasp. And I can do this kind of with my finger to get it started. And then I can lay it down. So hopefully we might have to do the camera again here, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. And then with it like this, see, I can kind of work through the purse. And I want to take my little screwdriver and I want to push this into, I want to make sure that little cording doesn't show. So you want to push it up in there, and it's going to get into the glue, and it's going to help pull that purse up into the clasp. And this one, I think I might try the bigger one, see if that one helps. Sometimes I have a little bit better luck with the bigger screwdriver. It just depends on how it's going. Okay, so just keep pushing it in there, and I'm just kind of working my way around. Now I notice that I'm kind of pulling out over here, so I'm going to give it a little push. Okay, so I can get my camera brought down just a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. And like I said, work slowly. Don't try to do this fast. Like I said, if you're worried about the glue, try doing this without the glue. Just kind of work with the paper string or your piping stuff that you're using, cording, and try it dry without the glue. Because if you're worried about it, like I did, I didn't do it dry the first time, and I really had a hard time the first time I did this purse, because it is a very large clasp, and I've never done one this big before. There's a bunch, I've done some bigger ones, but not one this big. Okay, so we're sticking this up in here. Just kind of working my way around. Okay, kind of keep going. Keep working your way around. I've got it laid down. It's a little easier to push in. Just kind of keep working your way around slowly, and just make sure this corner's in. I have a little trouble with the corners on these, with the round ones, because they like to pop out on me, but I think it's going in. Let's see here. Looks pretty good. So what I try to do is get the piping in there, and then I go back and do another round. So I think it's going in pretty well. Okay, so I'm still making my way around. Let's go ahead and, looks like I got the size about the right size, which is good. I often have to cut them off. I get them too long. But it looks like I did pretty well with this one. Okay, so I've got that pushed in, so I'm going to go back around. Make sure that I have the whole thing pushed up in there well. And like I said, practice without the glue. Just to practice putting it in, so you can feel what it feels like and how to get it in there. And it will be easier when you go to glue. I know the glue's a little scary. I've tried to make these purses for several years and never had very good luck getting in the clasps, but I'm slowly getting better at it, and I have to say what it is, it's this glue. This is the best glue. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. What do you think? So let's look at the other side. You see? There's the other side. Looks pretty smooth. On the other side, doesn't look like I have too much glue in there. Just going to make sure my corners are okay. It's always the corners, these little corners, that I have a little trouble with. So we'll make sure those are okay. Okay, and then you want to make sure when you're down here on the sides that your sides are in nice right here. So you can see that my sides are well installed right here and right here. Okay, up over here, there we go, right in here. So they meet up with the back of the frame. And I think I'm pretty happy with this. So before I move it, I'm going to grab my pliers. And to crimp it, we're going to go ahead and pull this back just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to go right on that corner. Oops, I think this one moved just a little bit. I'll make sure that stays in there. Just a second here. Okay. Going to hold on to the one side of the clasp and we're going to crimp this. And this one is so big, I crimped it twice. I went one and then I went up another width of the pliers and crimped it the second time. And I think I didn't quite squeeze, so I'm going to put it down. It's a little hard. These are pretty big, so it's nice to. Sometimes I have to give them 2 squeezes, but I did do it twice because of the size of this, and you can feel it go in. And then let's go do the other side. Okay, oops, make sure you can see me. I'm going to do it a second time. Sometimes I need 2 hands. Okay. So that's one side. Looks pretty good. I actually did pretty well with not getting glue all over everything. So that's good. And we can take the glue off. Now I had to clean my other one up a little bit, but we'll put the other purse, we'll put we will put the second side in. Okay. So are there any questions so far? Does that make sense to everybody? Again, if you need to practice, practice without the glue. Just putting it in so you can feel and test fit it, so you can kind of see where you're going before you put the glue in there. Okay? And don't get overzealous with the glue. You need a good quantity, but don't get too much, because if you get too much, it's just going to squeeze out all over. Okay? So there's that side. So this purse here will be done for the evening. I probably won't finish this one until tomorrow. Might finish it later tonight if I have time, but otherwise I'll finish this one tomorrow. I like to let them dry before I mess with the other side, because then I'm not afraid, that I'm going to do something to it. So, okay, so there's the first side of the purse. So now we're going to turn it around. I'm actually going to take this off the table and move it over here so it can dry without being disturbed. And we're going to start working on the other side of the purse. So here's the first side. This is the one I glued in. Here's my other piece of piping. Okay. And I've test fitted this, so I know where I'm going. Now this purse, for some reason, I got everything's a little bit wrinkly. Not wrinkly, but it was a little puckered, and I must have had something that I must have been had too big of a seam or something. So it was a little hard getting this is the purse I made a couple of days ago, and I must have just gotten things just a little bit off, and it was a little hard to get the clasp in. So I think it looks pretty good though. Okay, so I kind of test fit this, and I kind of know where I'm going now with the second side. Okay, and I'm so glad that these are stiffer, because they really are easier to get started standing upright, because then you can kind of see what you're doing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and we need to get the glue in here. I also have my handle pinned down on the back of this one as well, okay? That way it got out of my way, because those handles want to get in the way. I'm not used to doing them with the handles, and they just kind of get in the way. Okay, so now we need to I'm just going to turn this down for a second, and we're going to get the glue in here. So this is a little trickier with the glue, because you got the purses attached on one side, so I don't know if you'll be able to see me do this too well. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue in. It's a little dark, sorry. But again, You want an ample amount of glue, but don't overdo it. Because you do need glue in there, but you don't want it so full that it just squashes all over everything. I did find that with these bigger purses, though, you need to use more glue than you do in the little ones, because this is a really long, wide clasp. And I haven't done too many big ones. I've done a few. Dime has these really cool. Okay, so I like to work from the lining side. Got the glue in there. So then we're going to do. Oops, I got a couple little. Let's get some of those out of the way. All right. So I'm going to line up that center again, just like I did on the other side, and get it started. And remember, the center is actually the inside of this little thing. How long should you let it dry before you glue the other side? I usually let them set at least an hour. I often let them sit overnight. I like to make sure they're good and dry before I start messing with it. So I would say at least an hour before you do the other side. Because then you don't take the chance of all that hard work that you did on the first side. So I'm just doing the same thing I did on the other one. See, I'm working away over here on the corner, getting ready to put that side in. And what's good about this purse, these bigger ones, it is easier to get started on the clasp than the small ones. The small ones are really hard because you just don't have any room to work. Now this one I've got quite a lot of room to work. Okay. Looks pretty good. Let's get this side started in there. This one's being contrary. Okay, let's get this pushed up in there. The side doesn't want to go in. That's what I have trouble with, is the sides, but that's why I usually have to lay them down, because then I can work on the sides. Okay, we're getting there. Okay. This side doesn't want to go in, so we're going to go ahead and lay it down. Okay. Not sure yet. I got to get this one started first. Let's see here. This one was a little harder. I had a hard time getting this one going before because it wanted to pop out on me. And I think I must have taken too deep a seam on my outside, that my lining was a little loose, so I think that's what the problem was. I'm trying to get this side to go in for me. There we go. Okay. It's going. All right. So I'm ready to start putting my cording in. Where did it go here? Let's see if we can get this side. It is actually, I've done it both ways. I've laid them down and I've had them upright, but when you put the second side in, sometimes it's hard to lay it down because then you can't get through the other, you can't get through the other side of the clasp. So let's see if I can get this. There we go. It slid in there. All right. So let's get started on this one. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to try to align this a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to push this in. Now again, I start on the side, but that may not work for you. You may need to start from the middle, like up where the clasp is. That's fine. Whatever works for you. That's what they tell you to do, but I've never been able to get it to work for me that way. Okay, and I'm going to try to work this in with my thumb. Kind of push it around to get it started. Yep, this one's going to pop out on me. Yeah, this one was kind of contrary the first time, so I'd assume it'd be contrary this time as well. All right, so we're going to start kind of pushing this in, work it away around so that I don't have to push with the screwdriver so hard. And then I want to get this down here on the side here. Okay. Try the bigger screwdriver and see if that helps. There we go. It has a little bit bigger tip on it, so it works for these bigger purses better. But it doesn't work well for the little ones because it's too big. It just won't fit up in there. There we go. I'm making a little progress now. Okay. I'm going to work my way around. And this one, I found after I kind of got started and got it started, I could push, I turned it upside down and pushed from this direction. You just have to kind of turn it until it works for you. I've tried it different ways, and whatever works for you. This one's it's actually working better for me to hold it upright almost, so this I'm just going to keep holding it. I think it's going in now. Yeah, this one was just, I don't know, I must have had I think my lining was just a little bigger than my outside, so it was just, I had a little puckering, and so it's making it harder for the clasp to go in. I think it's going to look okay, but it's just been kind of contrary. I had to work at that clasp a little bit the other night. Okay, so I think this one's going to be a little long, as you can see. Looks like it's going to be a little long. So I think I'll just take my scissors and I'm just going to clip the end off a little bit. Yep. Need to clip about an inch or so off of my cording. Oops, now I can't see it. It's black. Come here. These aren't the best scissors, but they were the ones that were close. There we go. Okay. And the reason you want the other side good and dry is you can see I can put this back. You know, it's not hurting anything to put it back because it's good and dry. So that's why I don't want to have to worry about the other side while I'm doing this one. So that's why I always let them dry really well before I start working with the second side. It's still not long. It's still too long, so just cut a little bit more off. There we go. In there. Okay. Whoops. Now I popped it out up here, so we have to go back up again. Sometimes you have to work your way kind of around again. I've done this lots of times, and sometimes I spend a half an hour working on this, getting it pushed up in there. But this one, the first one on the other one went really fast. All right, let's see how we do here. That's better. I'll get my littler screwdriver and see if that will help. So just keep working it in there. I think it's going in pretty well. This one side is just it was contrary on the first side, so once I get the crimp in there, I think it'll be fine. Okay. And I try to keep my screwdrivers clean, so if you get a little glue on there, take it off so you don't get it all over your fabric. It does dry pretty clear, but it doesn't dry completely clear. You will see a little bit of a residue. Okay. So how do we do here? This side here is still a little bit weird, but I think once I crimp it, I think it'll be okay. I still see my cording just a little bit over here. There we go. I think it's in there. This one's just not being very friendly, is it? This little corner over here. Whoops! Now we got to start over every bit again, guys. It sometimes happens to me. You get one thing just done, and then something else pops out. All right, this one's just not being friendly to me tonight. All right, that's better. Nope. Now see? Nope. See, now I popped the whole thing out. Well, we'll just start again. Just keep working it up in there. It goes up in there really well. It just wants to come out when I pop this corner in. Okay, well, let's see here if I can use the bigger screwdriver again. It is much harder because you can't work through it. The first side's a lot easier because you can work through the clasp, and see this one I have to work around it. So it's a little harder. There, that's better. I think I've got it up in there now. Okay, make sure the two sides are good. And we'll look at the outside here in a second. Okay, let's look at the outside and see how it looks. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, so I didn't get glue all over everything. That's good. Alright. Make sure those are in there well. Two sides. And then I'm going to go ahead and I want to push this one in just a little bit. This one side is just not wanting to stay in for me. There we go. And then I'll crimp it. Pull this down just a little bit and see if I can pull it in a little bit better. It's just a little bit off. There we go. Pull this down a little bit so you can see. Denise says, I'm so patient. You know, I'm not always, Denise, because believe me, the first one of these I threw the purse several times. So I'm not always patient. But you just have, that is one thing with this procedure, that if you take your time and are patient, it will go in. You just have to take your time. Okay, I'm going to get this crimped before it moves again. Okay. I think that looks pretty decent. Let's get this side done before it moves again on me. Okay. Sometimes I'm patient, Denise, but there are times when it's very hard to be patient. Okay, so we'll get this one crimped. This is a stiff clasp, so you got to give it a good. I think I need to do that one again. I have to use both hands on this one. They're kind of stiff, you know. They're thick, and there it goes. Okay. Sure the cording's up in there good. There's just one little spot that just doesn't want to stay up in there. Okay, so now I am going to set this aside, and I'm not going to mess with it anymore until it dries well, okay? But that is both sides of the purse. And you can see I've got my two lines. This is the dry side. So here the two lines are lined up here. And if you get some glue on your clasp, just let it dry, and then it comes off real easy. But I'm going to set this aside. Make sure it doesn't tip over on me here. There we go. And when you get both sides of your purse done, this is what it's going to look like. So they're both sides of my purse are done. Still got a little bit of glue on this one. So I just take, you know, if I see a little glue there, like there's a little bit there, I just take my fingernail and it just pops right off the clasp. And you can take if you need to, but most of the time I don't even need a rag or anything. I've got a little bit yet on the outside of this. So just kind of take my fingernail and get it off. And then I'll take a little rag sometimes and just shine up the clasp a little bit afterwards, just after I get all the glue off of it. And I've even got strings on this one. But there's both sides of my clasp. And I've already taken, I don't know if you can still see them, but I kind of took off the little chalk marks on this one. And then close it up. And you can see it makes that cool shape on the purse. You know, it kind of moves, it kind of dips in on the sides, then it makes it kind of pooky at the bottom. That's what it's supposed to do. And I really like that, putting that shape flex on there, because doesn't that make a nice body? The purse has like nice body on it. and it's going to stand up real nice by itself, and then you can put some stuff in there and it'll stand up even better. So, like I said, if you need clasps, I've got the clasps on the website, and I'm just out of them right now, but they'll be in a couple of days. I think Tuesday. I think it said they'd be here Tuesday. So, and then I have the books will be back in stock too, because some of you are waiting for books. So if you want to order the book, go ahead and order the book. We are going to make some more purses out of here. The next one I want to do is that the little tote bag one with the great big huge clasp. And if you think this one's big, that clasp is about this wide, and it's real tall and round. So I'm anxious to try that one, because that one's going to be kind of a tough one. I think it's big. So we're going to do that one. That's going to be one of the next ones. And then there was a couple of other smaller purses in there I wanted to do. So we'll pull that book out and we'll make purses occasionally, because I like to make purses and bags. So they're a lot of fun. Okay, so are there any questions about the clasp? Just take your time, test fit them without the glue, practice putting in the cording so you can feel what it feels like, and before you put the glue in, and then I think you'll get along fine. I put glue on mine right away, my first one, and actually, let me show it to you. I have it here, my little Cubs one. I struggled with it, and you will see why. So see, can you see the glue all along the inside here? I had glue all over it. Can you see it? I didn't clean this one up. I just left it so you could see, because I had a hard time with this one, getting it in. But what I was trying to do was I was trying to line up this corner way up here, and it was making it puckery. And so there is going to be that little opening. It's okay to have that little opening there. It doesn't hurt anything at all. And it allows that bigger part of the hinge to move. Okay? So after I got over that, then I was able to get it in. But this one does have some glue on it. And you can kind of get the glue off after it's good and dry. If you take a wet cloth, you can get some more of it off of it. So don't be too worried. I try not to get it on the outside, but I did have quite a bit on the inside of this one. Okay? So it is, I had a hard time getting this one in. I think I tried about 3 or 4 times before I got it in. And I did get glue on this one. Okay? So after I also added the Shape Flex, it made it so much stiffer. This purse was much easier to get the clasp in, because the purse gave you, it would sit up. So like when I'm working on it, instead of it having to lay down like this, I could set it up like this, and I could get it started, and then I could lay it down. And that really helped me a lot to be able to work with it standing upright. Okay? But I just love this one. This is my favorite one, I think. I like the little buttons though too. So, okay, are there any questions? Everybody think they can get their clasp in? Just take your time. Don't get in a hurry doing it, and make sure you have all your tools ready before you get started. Nothing too fancy, your screwdrivers and a pair of pliers and your good glue. So, and if you have a lighter colored fabric, you can use like one of those friction pens, and then just kind of touch it with the tip of the iron when you're done, and it'll go away. This is all dark, so all I have is a black one, so it didn't work very well. So I had to use the chalk pencil. All right, so next week we will do the little shadow box. So we'll be on the Scan and Cut next week with the little shadow box. And the roses are really fun to make. If you've never done quilling and paper rolling, it's really fun. So I think you'll enjoy the little box. And you can do these in any color you want. I did one some years ago that I had red, white, and blue roses, and it says "Let Freedom Ring." So on the group, yes, the Shape Flex did work very well for Clara, and it gave it body. Otherwise, the purse is just too soft. But just so you know, you have to go to Sew Along with Jan. The first post on the group is the drop box, and the Rolled Roses shadow box is up there. Rolled Roses shadow box. And I gave you all the designs, so if you don't want to make the design, I gave you everything. but then I also gave you Let Freedom Ring. So I had done another red, white, and blue one, and we'll look at it next week. But I gave you that design too. What are the roses made out of? They're made out of lightweight cardstock, Jan. I buy that cheap cardstock at Hobby Lobby, and it makes the roses nice and they stand up nice. So they didn't used to make quilling paper in sheets. They do now, actually, so I do have some actual quilling paper in sheets. They used to just make it in little strips. So I always have used this real lightweight cardstock, and it works real well for the roses. So all I have here is and I gave you in that same file with all these designs for next week, there's also a piece of paper that has a supply list on it. So then you'll know what you need to buy if you want to make this little project. Okay? So that's all you go to Sew Along with Jan. It's the very first post, and it's the link to the Dropbox, and it's called Rolled Roses Shadow Box. Okay? Alrighty, so we will see you next week for Scan and Cut, and then the following week will be the software class, and I'm working on that right now, so I hope to post that yet this weekend. And tomorrow, I finally did it. I've signed up for a COVID shot, so tomorrow I have my first COVID shot. So tomorrow afternoon, so you can all be thinking about me. And then hopefully I'll get vaccinated before the 1st of June. That was my goal. So to see if I could be vaccinated before the 1st of June. I think I might make it. So, all right. So I'm going to put the camera up for a second to say goodbye. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all next week for Scan and Cut. Yay! I love the Scan and Cut classes, so I always have fun doing those. And then the next one will be in May, and I've already got a good plan for that, so I'll talk about that next week. So, all right, thanks everybody. Good night. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye.